my guest. I am here in Miami, so excited to vibe with Kasha, the empowering Empress. I'm going to share this to a couple of places before we begin. Feel free to join us on Zoom if you are inspired to ask questions or to tune in, or just be an observer on these streams.
Should I give a quick panoramic view, or should I wait until
Go
more
for
people
it.
are?
This is the perfect time. Yeah, let's see.
Okay.
Whatever nature you can see, we would love to see. If you haven't been to Tulum, take a look.
Yeah. I don't know. Hold on, I'm going to see how to reverse it. Okay, there we go.
Oh my
That's
God,
so weird.
that's beautiful. that caught me off guard. What a cool place.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
You guys are looking at Tulum right now. If you haven't, matter of fact, I'm gonna add that to the description.
Bringing the tropical vibes through. Okay, how do I turn it around? All right, there we go.
All right, we're good to go.
There's a bunch of random dogs running around. It's great. I love it.
They're trying to get their dinner from you guys.
No, I mean they're just content. Honestly, they're just running around.
What a great place to live if you were a dog, to be able to run around.
I was thinking that today actually. It was just wow. I made up a whole little story in my head about the stray dogs and the dogs that are owned, and living here in Tulum, and it was just this whole little children's story in my head. It was so weird. It was there's a whole social thing with the dogs and who's a stray and who's not. I just thought it was funny. I was honestly, if I was a dog here in Tulum, I'd be a stray, for sure.
I was going to say the strays must be teasing the ones that are owned, because they're on the leash and we're not. Or we're doing, but then the ones that are on the leash are well, I'm going home to a big meal. What are you going home?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But as we know, dogs probably aren't doing this like we do as humans. This sounds like human thinking.
Yeah. You get to run around and be free, but at the same time, you always have to be looking for your food. But then you get a lot of affection from random strangers, so that's nice.
Okay, let me record before we start vibing more, and let's begin this beautiful transmission. I'm excited. Well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Excited for today and have an awesome guest with us who is live from Tulum in Mexico. We have Kasha, who is known as the empowering Empress, and she is an awesome human being. We're going to share some beautiful vibes today, and the intention is to uplift anyone that is tuning in with us here live. If you guys want to join us and ask questions, I know this is streaming in multiple places right now. We can't see your questions, but if you want to engage with what we're about to vibe about, feel free to join us here on Zoom. And so really excited to have this talk. And without further ado, I want to introduce you guys, or maybe reintroduce you guys to Kasha. And Kasha, if you could share with the audience so they're more familiar with you, whatever you're inspired to share as far as how you would describe yourself, who you are, what you're excited about right now, and all of these beautiful things.
Wow. Okay, that's such a big question. Okay, who am I? I would say that I'm a multi-dimensional being, here to have a good time, spread the love. My main thing is empowering Empress, so I feel like a lot of my essence in my life is to share the empowerment frequency and to really encourage people to live their life to the absolute fullest and to their complete authenticity and truth. Right now, I'm currently here in Tulum, following the frequencies of the water, because the water is an element that I deeply connect with. I like to joke that I'm also a mermaid, so the water here in Tulum is absolutely magical. So lots of healing, lots of new revelations to bring in the solstice. So yeah, what else did you ask?
You said many beautiful things already that you've inspired me already. And if you wouldn't mind, for those that may have just tuned in, could you just show us that beautiful mermaid water again? That is.
Yes.
I mean, look at this. This is a reminder for all of us what a beautiful planet that we share, and I always love to remind people of that, because regardless of where you are on the planet right now, you have some type of nature that whether it be a forest or whether it be some mountains or whether it be some desert or whether it be some beaches or whatever it is. Like, we share such a beautiful planet, and I love how
Yeah.
Kasha just right off the bat talked about empowerment and this energy of empowerment, whether we're being empowered, which the intention with this conversation is to empower whoever is attracted to tune in, but then also when we're empowering, this energy just feels so good for all of us. And I could tell that that's something that, with your example, first and foremost, like, you love to empower people and remind people of who they truly are. On your Instagram, in fact, I'll read what it says on your Instagram because I love it. I want to know how and when you decided to tune in and write it this way. Because on your Instagram, it says, endlessly beginning. I am nothing and I am everything. Seek nothing and receive everything. Like, that is something for people to wrap their mind around, all of those things. And we could tune into all of that stuff. But what are you inspired? What are you inspired to say right now?
So I've actually had that second quote, the seek nothing and receive everything, pretty much since I've started Instagram. Like, I don't even know, like back in 2013 or something like that. And I haven't changed it ever since. I just love that quote so much. I think it's never not relevant. It's a quote from the Tao, if anyone's familiar with that, by the philosopher Lao Tzu or Lao Tzu, or however you want to say his name. It's a wonderful book. I always recommend. It was one of the first books I think I really dove into on my spiritual journey, and I think it's so beautiful. It's just about living a really simple life and flowing in the flow of nature. And so that's one of my favorite quotes from that book. And then endlessly beginning is one that I recently came up with this year, because I feel like this year was a year of a lot of like rebirth for so many people. So I feel like we're always endlessly beginning. And when we allow ourselves to be comfortable in that state of endlessly beginning, we're surrendering. And when we surrender, that actually brings us to a deeper place of empowerment, because you know that at the end of the day, like, the number one person that is going to keep you secure is you, regardless of what happens. You're always endlessly beginning, and that is exciting in a way. And it gives you a sense of empowerment that there's always something fresh and exciting to explore within yourself, So, yeah, those are two that I really enjoy. I'm not really fond of changing my Instagram bios too often, so those might just be the permanent ones. I don't know. We'll see.
I think those are really great reminders for people to just be open to, even if initially they might not understand what that means specifically, to be open to that. Like, I'm going to share what I'm inspired about with both of those things when it comes to seek nothing and receive everything. Like, this is so important. For the longest point of my life, I was such a seeker in the sense of I needed something that I didn't have in order to want to feel the way I wanted to feel on the inside. So it was like I was the I'll be happy when guy. Like, I'll be happy when I have this amount of money. I'll be happy when I have these type of relationships. I'll be happy when I have, this type of health, or whatever it is that we do as human beings. So where there's that, like, it's one thing to have a desire, which we all have those. Like, life is going to cause us to desire things. We're creators, so without having desires, we wouldn't create anything. But at the same time, like, the seeking, like, I have to find this, I have to get this so that I can be okay in the present. That's going to cause a lot of uneasiness. Like, that's going to cause a lot of tension in the body, which it's very challenging to manifest those things that we seek if we actually need that before we can actually feel whole and complete now, which actually leads into the second thing that you said, endlessly beginning. The beautiful thing for all of us is that every now moment is a new beginning. And actually the only thing that really exists for any of us. So we can be really excited, even if all of 2020, every second was just miserable for you, which I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure everyone listening has had some pleasant moments as well, probably some challenges also. I know I've had some challenges and many pleasurable moments for sure in 2020. And at the same time, this now moment is all that exists for any of us. So it's a beginning place that we can put our full attention and energy into, and we get to decide over and over again what version of us we want to bring to this present moment of now. So I love those quotes.
No, that was beautiful. I completely agree. I feel like some of the most beautiful moments in life are when we just allow ourselves to be present and to accept that we may not know always when the next manifestation, the next step is going to occur. But being not just being comfortable with it, but being allowing yourself to be uncomfortable in a sense as well. Being uncomfortable with the uncomfortable. I think is a really exciting place to be. It's this liminal state where everything is possible, and you're just on the edge of existence, and you have the possibility to jump into anything. And I think the essence of empowerment and things like that are so important when you're at that moment where the whole like horizon is your world. If you have a sense of yourself that you are scared or you doubt yourself, then you maybe might not be as encouraged to take that leap of faith that could really be beneficial and change a huge aspect of your life. But if you remind yourself that I have everything that I need right here and now, I don't need anything, I don't need to seek anything. I just have it right here, and that's the most powerful tool is myself. And then we can jump into anything with full trust and surrender that everything's going to work out and everything is here for our empowerment. That's a quote that I kind of came up with this year, is that everything is here for our empowerment, whether or not we like to think of it that way, because I know we all have gone through like not so great things. And, okay, there we go. It was getting really dark for a second, and I realized that my brightness is going down. I was like, no, I wasn't really getting that dark here that fast. So when we, there's things where we feel like, oh, well, that was an awful thing to me. Like, what do you mean that was for my empowerment? Like some people might be offended by that. And I can totally understand why. But I always find that when I look at things in hindsight and I see things from a higher perspective after they've happened, things are always here for our empowerment. They're always here to give us a higher perspective and to give us a deeper sense of self. And, another quote that I really enjoy that maybe I could put into my bio is just know thyself, So I feel like we always have what we need, and I think if we accept the fact that the good or the bad, it's all here to empower us and to contribute to our life and to make our life more beautiful. So I just find that really beautiful. I randomly came up with it one day, like during a meditation. It's like, okay, I don't know if anyone else made that up, but I'm gonna stick with it, because I'm all about empowerment. So especially that with the balancing the divine feminine and masculine energies. I know there's people out there who are focused a lot on maybe one aspect, and that's so beautiful and very much needed in this world for people to hold a straight, clear vessel for a specific energy. Right now, I'm leaning more towards the divine feminine, but I also equally appreciate divine masculine. I think it's very important to honor both in this life. And but I find that with the divine feminine, the state of surrender and allowing yourself to receive things is so vital right now in the world that we live in, because we tend to keep pushing and pushing and try to force things. And when we just allow ourselves to just flow with life and to receive that wisdom of the beauty of life, then we can truly see that things are for our empowerment, and we can trust ourselves. Not just trusting something outside of ourselves, but recognizing that that is innately us, and we can trust that. So,
You guys listen really closely as Kasha is speaking. She is dropping gems right now and inspiring me all along the way. And I'm gonna speak on a couple of things that she just shared. That it's just awesome, because I want to go back to the know thyself quote in a second, because this is if I was to share anything with anyone, it would be exactly this: is the know thyself and what that really truly means. But before I go there, as far as when you describe everything being for our
there we go. Okay, I couldn't see you for a second. We're good now.
Oh, I switched the camera angle. Hold on. What I'm going to do also, and I just reminded, Zishan reminded me. Hello, Zishan, who's in the UK. So Zishan was on a podcast with me when we got hacked, and I just remembered I had it muted the audience. So this is streaming right now on Facebook and different places, and anyone could easily join us and decide that they want to play as well. So we'll make sure that if they do, they won't be able to speak.
You can say hi, but
but you can't talk. Hold on, I'm gonna mute, and then I'm gonna unmute you. 1 second. All right. Okay. Awesome. Thank you for that reminder, Lisha.
Thank you.
Literally, I was like, I have PTSD when it comes to this. I've been hacked twice in the thing, and both times is like they were just speaking. And anyways, we won't go there. But this is also for my empowerment because I got to be better at Zoom and operating these Zooms when that happened. But when you said everything is for our empowerment, so important. Like when we really think about every life experience that we have is going to lead to additional clarity as far as, ooh, I really like this, or don't really like that so much. And when we have the I don't really like that so much, whether it be a health challenge or a relationship or a financial challenge, like the desire at that moment is stronger than it's ever been for the manifestation of whatever that is. And so then it goes back to, not needing to seek it, not needing to have it now in order to feel okay. But just knowing that every life experience is going to do this for us. So every life experience is actually serving us. Kasha mentioned this a second ago, how, you can look back and see how things were empowering us. Very difficult sometimes when you're in the middle of a challenge to see like all the reasons why the challenge is happening. But if you can remind yourself that this challenge is serving me, I'll know the full extent of how it's serving me and what it's serving me after I probably move through it. But it doesn't have to like take us out where it's like, oh, like this is the worst thing ever, when we know that it's going to empower us and make our desires even stronger. And I can hit on the know thyself as well. But I just said a lot when it comes to the empowerment. I will, because that is important. So the quote that we talked about, know thyself, so important. Like when we realize that all of us are, you see my physical avatar, you call it Noel. You see yours, you call it Kasha. And, yours, whatever you are out there, you call your physical avatar, whatever you call it. And a lot of times before we have this light bulb of who we truly are, we think that that's all that it is, like just this avatar. We think that life is all about where we were born, who our parents are, like all the external things. Like we think that that's what is controlling what it is that we experience here in this life, not realizing until we do that when we talk about know thyself, we're all just different expressions of the same non-physical energy, the same divine energy, the same source energy, nature energy, prana energy, whatever it is that you want to resonate with out there. Like we're expressions of that, and that's just housed in this physical avatar. So when this life experience is done, this physical avatar, it either goes back to the dirt, or maybe you go out into the water. Like just dump me out at sea, just like drop me off out in the sea and just let me float away. Like I'm down for that. But it's just, but we continue to exist. Like our energy, the essence of who we truly are, continues to exist. So the more that we know that and understand that, and if this is the first time that you're becoming aware of this out there listening, awesome. It'll be a forever thing, because actually knowing thyself, it's a forever thing, because we're always evolving and we're never finished, we're never complete.
It's always endlessly beginning.
Exactly. Full circle.
Yeah.
So yes, that's my favorite thing to affirm for anyone that is ready to receive that, because that can give you so much excitement and so much peace to not think that these humans over here are any better or worse than me. They're just a different expression of me. And to think that I need to know it all, or I haven't like got to where I need to, it's endlessly beginning. Like we're always evolving. So when we can have the peace when it comes to that, life can be really, really fun, a fun adventure.
Yeah. And I think the magic really comes from, there's moments where we want to look at things like, oh, I like this, I don't like that. I like this, I don't like that. And that's good, because that way we navigate, this life. I think it's Abraham Hicks. You got to know what you don't want in order to know what you do want. But on top of that as well, when it comes to seeing the lesson from a higher perspective, I think staying neutral and objective about it is also really important, because you're not always kind of throwing your energy back and forth so often and picking what you do like and what you don't. It serves a purpose, but I find that when you allow yourself to just be neutral and objective, it allows you to kind of see things from a higher vantage point and be like, okay, what's the lesson behind this? And sometimes, you could say that, everything could be a lesson. And sometimes I think also just allowing yourself to just go and let things go and let it be what it is also equally as important as well. It's not always having to try to figure things out and to find a meaning behind it, but just letting it go and be neutral. And if it comes to you and there's a lesson there, then that's awesome, But yeah, I found that this year I was, I don't like this about the things going on, and I don't like that. And I just found that my energy was getting pulled back and forth so often. And I found that I wasn't able to find the true medicine in it until I was able to take a step back and just be neutral about it and actually find the things that I appreciate and the things that like within like I like to do shadow work, but just even in the world of all around us, looking at the things that we may not necessarily enjoy and be like, well, what's something that I can appreciate from this and really find empowerment from, even if it's dark, dirty, and nasty. We don't want to look at it. There's something beautiful there. Oftentimes, one of my favorite sayings is that like your poison is oftentimes your medicine, and that's a story of alchemy. Is finding the not so great parts within ourselves or in the world, which is and finding the beauty in it and making it an even beautiful version of itself. So I think that's really beautiful to be able to look at the things in life, whether good or bad, objectively, and find the beauty and appreciation in it, and giving it gratitude.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You said something right there that I want to hit on, because I noticed this as one of the biggest challenges for humanity is we get caught in the why this happened, why that happened, and all these things, which I'm not telling you out there don't do that. Like if you have a level of curiosity, awesome. I could tell you that you were co-creator in whatever that was. So just know that, like whatever you were vibrating up until the manifestation, you played a role in whatever you were experiencing in life. But that we don't have any power there. Like if you have an inquisitive brain and you just want to know all these answers, then knock yourself out. Spend as much time on the why as you want. I hear people doing it a lot, like, why did I attract this type of person? Or why did I attract that type of person? What your power is, where your power lies, is now you're more clear than ever as far as what you would like, as far as whether it be a relationship or any area of life. So nobody has the power to unmanifest anything or uncreate anything. I've never met an uncreator or an unmanifester.
Yeah.
But everybody that I meet, all of you listening to this live or anywhere that you are, you're a creator, you're a manifester. All of us are. So that's where our power lies. So the question that is a more empowering question is, what is it that I would now like to see? What am I excited to manifest as a result of experience this? You know what you don't want by the things, you know what you do want by experiencing things that you don't want. Like now, what is it that I would like to see? And then if I put my attention and energy and create that frequency here and now I become a magnet to the ideas as far as how that's going to happen. And then the synchronicities of people, places, circumstances, everything that needs to happen in order to manifest that, it will start to respond to my frequency if I put myself in the energy of that now. But if I continue to want to go over here and say, man, this sucked that this happened to me, and it's this person's fault that this happened to me, and it's that person's fault that this is going on in the world, your vibration, your frequency is a match to that over there that you're pointing at. Wherever you're pointing your direction and energy into where you want to go, or you're pointing your direction, your energy into what has already been, and you're like, that sucks. You just get to create more of that. So you're a creator, you're a powerful creator out there. Create what you want. If you want to create more drama scenes in your movie called life, awesome. If you want to create some love scenes or you want to create some action adventure scenes, awesome. You choose. We all get to choose.
If you want to create team adventures on the beach and be able to explore the beauty of the Caribbean, you can do that as well. Or if you just want to enjoy simple moments by yourself, and there's always so many beautiful ways that we can experience life. And I think I recently have just really been getting into comedy, and I find that laughter is such a great medicine, especially in these times that we can tend to feel like the world's like caving in on us. And if we can laugh at things, it just immediately takes it to a new vibration where you're like, oh, it's not that serious, I that's kind of like the wisdom, I would say, of like reggae music in a way. It's just take it easy, man. Life's not that serious. Keep it simple. Just have a good time and laugh. I think is a great way to like come back to a centering point if someone's ever feeling like overwhelmed and stressed out and stuff. Just remembering like life's not that serious. Take it easy. Have a couple laughs. And enjoy the moment. And
You know why I believe that humans take life so serious? And anytime I'm speaking about anything, anybody out there, it's because at one point, the things that I'm sharing now, as far as the empowering things that I'm sharing, at one point was probably considered one of my greatest weaknesses. Because I didn't know. Like, we can't choose to do anything about, as far as making significant changes, like conscious changes, until we become aware of it first. So everything that I do whenever I'm like, the way that we can empower people in the most is just help them have some new awareness and let them know that now the power of choice is up to them, and we can't choose or vibrate for anyone. So to me, you'll never hear me say you should or shouldn't do anything. I'm super excited when you have the awareness, because now you get to choose whether or not you want to or don't want to. But all this stuff, I totally forgot what we were saying right before that, and it'll pop back into my mind whenever it is necessary to be shared. But it was relevant to what you just said, and I just completely went on a left turn so that I could just give people. I'm gonna take it back. But if you spark anything that you said just a second ago, it's gonna come out. But I totally forgot what we were talking about, and it's okay. It must not be meant to be shared right now. It'll pop back in my mind. I want to humanize. I want to humanize you a little bit, because people are looking like this human is powerful. Like, she's like sharing, dropping nuggets, dropping gems. Like, how did she become aware of all this? Like, where did all this wisdom come from? So what I know, as for all of us, is we show up here in these physical avatars as just little unconditional, loving little babies. And for a time, most of us, if not all of us, I say it most of us jokingly because it's probably all of us, we forget who we truly are, and we maybe compare ourselves to others. We wonder what our purpose is, why we're here, all these questions as far as, am I enough? Am I, all the things that we do, all the humaning that we do. Nothing wrong with it. We came here for that. But did you go, just as powerful as you are here today, did you go from like unconditional loving little baby to what we're seeing right now? Or was there some additional like evolution and awareness that had to happen for you to become conscious of all the things that you're sharing today?
I would say I've always been that unconditionally loving baby. There was times though where I felt like that wasn't okay though, and I dimmed my light for a while, and I kind of allowed myself to minimize myself and to kind of one-dimensionalize myself instead of allowing myself to express the infinite. So growing up, I grew up in the Christian church, and I'd always been around like spiritual energy, things like that, whether it was in the Christian church or not, like just other family members. And so I always, I'd be outside every day, like playing in the nature and talking to the fairies and things like that. I was always very imaginative and in my own world. As I got older, I moved to inner city school, and I got picked on quite a bit. So I think there was a part of me that minimized that side of myself for a little bit. And I'm also very grateful for that time, because I used to be very kind of spazzy and all over the place, and I learned to calm down a little bit and look at things from an internal perspective. And I think that was when the time where I really rekindled my light and resparked it, even though it came from a kind of what would seemingly be an external kind of suppressing place. I found the empowerment in it and saw that I could take this opportunity to really learn more about myself and to dive deeper into myself. And from there, I found more charcoal to burn my fire with, and to remember even more. Because when you're a baby, you don't have a full context of the world. You don't have a full, tangible things to relate to, which is, kind of nice. But as, you get older, you find things that you can relate to and define more of yourself. And so I find that over time, it was for, maybe a good couple years that I allowed myself to kind of go through a darker period. But then I came back, I feel like stronger in my light, remembering more of who I am and having more things to relate to the world with. So I think we all have that magic in us. And it's really beautiful to see how we can all evolve from different places. Some people can have a spontaneous boom, I'm fully aware, and other times it's a gradual journey, and then sometimes it's like a little halt, and then you're like, oh wait, I remember who I am, and I would say I'm kind of the last one. I had to kind of remember who I was really quick, little hair flip type mood, and so I would say I was always kind of like that baby, but it evolved differently throughout time. So
do you remember do you consciously remember like the hair flip moment, as far as like when you were like, I call it the light bulb moment, where we begin to start consciously evolving, where we know that we're going to evolve the entire time we're here? Is that, since yours was more gradual. Do you remember like are you conscious of like a specific time where it was like that, your hair flip moment and my light bulb moment? That means the same thing. I could tell.
Well, I've always been kind of a rebellious person, like just naturally. So, but I guess that's such a good question. I guess my hair flip moment was when I kind of like finished high school early because I think the education system is not really conducive for modern day humans. So I think the amount of passion and drive I had to rebel against that system and to get out was such a liberating feeling for me that I feel like I was able to really release a huge aspect of my life that felt like was hindering me in a sense, and I can finally just be like, I'm done with you, like goodbye. I can sleep in as long as I want, you know. So probably around the time of leaving the school system is a good time of like a good hair flip, definitely.
Super interesting. I'm always fascinated by that with all of us because like I could tell like when I meet someone whether or not they've had that moment where they realize that we're going to evolve the entire time that we're here. Like that's all that I really, if I say I want something for another person, it's the realization of that nobody's ever going to know it all. You don't need to. Like you'll be able to attract to yourself whatever is going to be useful on your journey. And that's all that we need. You know, we're whole and complete now. And at the same time, we're evolving. So you just attract whatever it is that's going to be useful, whether it be a person or a book or some type of information or whatever it is. And it's just awesome to know that because even if all of us like learned every second of every day for the next 1,000 years, we'd still only be consciously aware of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of. I mean, it just. So I love knowing that because it's like, oh, well, there's no reason to even like think that I'm gonna know it all. Because stop it out there if you think that you do. Like the category of the things that we know, some things, and then the things that we know that we don't know, way more things. And
way bigger, yeah.
The things that we don't even know that we don't know, that's like everything. So it just, to me, that gives me peace because I'm not trying to struggle to try to learn it all or know it all. I'm just happy and grateful for the consciousness that I have now and the fact that I'm evolving on purpose. And I hope everybody out there, if you're evolving on purpose, like be so excited because now life is just an adventure and you get to just see what comes next, what awesome humans are going to show up in your path. What adventures are you going to have in this beautiful planet that we share? It's all beautiful. So.
I think you were just saying gratitude, and that actually was a little hack this year that really, I would say, changed my life. I always would say I consider myself a grateful person. Maybe not always, because as you grow up, you don't have the full concept of what gratitude is really. But throughout my whole life, I definitely feel like I've been like a very appreciative person. However, this year, when the beginning of the shutdown happened, I found that I was really not enjoying that. I'm already a very solitary person, so I actually was like joking that I lived a quarantine lifestyle before quarantine. But when I want to go out, I want to go out like once or twice a month, and the fact that was then inhibited from me at the time, kind of, I found that my mindset was a little. I wasn't always reminding myself about the empowerment of things, and I think gratitude is such a beautiful, magical thing that I forget what day it was, but sometime in like April, I believe, I started to write every day on one piece of paper what I'm like one whole piece of paper what I'm grateful for, and the mindset shift that I've had since April, doing that every day, has been night and day difference. Like I would like to think I was a positive person before, and I was for the time being. However, the comparison to where I'm at now is vastly different. Just by something as expressing gratitude every day, I think is so important. And giving yourself, taking it easy on yourself and appreciating yourself for what you've gone through, and appreciating the divine, and allowing ourselves to really connect with our ancestors and our guides and things like that, just to say thank you. Even though I don't know all that you're doing for me, there's things that I could have experienced that I didn't, because there's a greater power that's from within us and that's all around us that continues to provide and heal, love, and nourish and support us. And giving gratitude to that, I think, is so important and allows us to really feel secure in this life. And it just makes it more fun, you know? It's just like a never-ending little like spiral of what you're grateful for. And it just feels good to be able to do that. And I was going to also say that some of the things that we may not want to address in life, I always highly advocate to people to dive into shadow work if that's something that aligns with them, because although it may seem icky, it's honestly so beautiful. And the more that you do it, I wouldn't recommend going out and seeking it, you know, allowing it to come up when it happens. But the more that you allow yourself to receive that with gratitude, the more that you'll find that life doesn't seem as bumpy, you know, and you may not feel as jaded on the inside because you're allowing yourself to find the beauty in any aspect of life. And learning to, I think that's the, for me, Jesus is someone that, growing up in the Christian church, I always appreciated his energy. I felt like it was a little misconstrued though, and I've now connected with him from my own perception, and really his message was just loving unconditionally. And loving unconditionally comes from a place of loving, you know, within yourself and being able to express that within, from yourself to other people. And I believe that Jesus will probably be master shadow worker in a way, because, you know, to have that much compassion for other people means that, and that's what I was going to say way back, that the only reason why someone would be able to give you advice or give you any type of insight onto something in life is most likely because they went through that experience themselves. So if they're giving you advice on, you know, maybe whatever it is, you know, and you're like, well, you know, how can I trust that, or how do I know that's genuine? Most of the time, I think it's coming from a place like they already experienced it. I think it's so valuable. That's why the internet is so beautiful, is that we can learn from other people's mistakes, so to speak, and allow us to learn from that and to empower from that. And Jesus was probably one of those people that was very, very receptive to allowing all his walls to crumble down, so that way he could have his heart fully open within himself and with other people. Just such a greedy, unconditionally loving being. And there's so many other beautiful people throughout history that have also had that frequency as well. I'm just using Jesus as an example. But when we allow ourselves to just take all the, you know, inhibitions away and release any resistance and allow someone's medicine to come through, that it may have been at one point their poison, and now it's a sense of empowerment. For me, I would say that's kind of where a lot of my empowerment came from. Is a lot of my life I didn't feel empowered, and I realized that that's so important, and that so many humans, just by the way that we're kind of conditioned to be raised, a lot of people are kind of ingrained with this innate sense of disempowerment. And so really, I realized that was something for me that just resonated so deeply that I felt everyone could benefit from, whether it's financial empowerment or just spiritual empowerment, emotional empowerment. Just the essence of empowerment is something that in our modern day society, I'm not sure if everyone entirely taps into as much. And I would like to think, and I definitely feel like we are now more, because the more people that I talk to, especially here in Tulum, such a beautiful place, everyone here just seems to be on a cloud and really, really confident in themselves and allowing themselves to be more honest and truthful with themselves, and to you know, receive the poison from themselves or other people and be like, that was probably at one point really hard for you, but now it's a beautiful lesson that you get to share with the world. And I find that that's some of the ways that people can really tune into maybe what their soul purpose or their essence or work or whatever it is that they want to share with the world. It's often, I think, looking at the things that we don't want to look at, that we can find a true, beautiful medicine in it, not only for ourselves, but for the other people in the world. So, you know, because Jesus was nailed on the cross and he still loved everyone. And I think that has something to say, you know. So, yeah.
You just flowed so many beautiful things just now. I'm going to hit on both of these, gratitude and unconditional love, like super important. And for those that, I'm getting ready to share something when it comes to gratitude. You can't fake being grateful. Like either you're in the energy of gratitude or not, and And the reason I say that is because gratitude puts us in the energy of receiving. Like, what do you say to anyone when they give you anything? You say thank you. So if you can put yourself in a grateful energy prior to the receiving of what it is that you want to receive, now you're a energy of receiving. You're a magnet to the things that you want to receive. So this is why counting our blessings is so important, because if you truly can be grateful for the things that you have right now, get ready, more is on the way. Get ready, more is coming. Yeah. And if you want to take that further, if you can be grateful for the things that are not yet even manifested, the things that you can't see yet, if you can be grateful for those things, get ready, those are coming. Like, you're going to manifest those much faster because you're already, you're telling God, you're telling the universe, I already have these things. Like, these are already, it's just the process of manifestation. It's just like a farmer, when they plant seeds, the farmer's already grateful for the harvest. They know the harvest is coming, but the harvest isn't coming the same day you plant the seeds. It doesn't work that way. So you plant seeds, you cultivate it with gratitude, and then you harvest. Like, it's very simple. And so, and you can take that to the bank, because that's just how this universe is set up. That's how it's all, that's how the process of creation goes. So the fastest way to manifest nothing, or what you don't want, is to be ungrateful and to not appreciate the things that you have now. And again, I'm not preaching to anyone. This was my greatest weakness a long time ago. I would have things in my life or manifest things, and I was so future based, like I'll be happy when, that I didn't even take time to be grateful for the things that I was able to manifest right now. Even if it was like an awesome person in my life, didn't appreciate it. Or an awesome, like something that happened at a job that I had, like didn't appreciate it. I'm like, I hate this job. I want to get to the next one. You know, I want to get to where I want to be, like freedom wise. So it slows down the whole process so much. But the reason I preface that with, you can't fake it, is because you might hear me say that, like, ooh, gratitude's the energy of receiving. And you might just try to like fake gratitude so that you can receive more. Yes. It just doesn't work that way. You have to genuinely be, you have to genuinely be happy with what is if you want to receive more. And we can all do that. It's almost like not. See, I hesitate when I say this, but it's really how I feel about it. It's like we all want the manifestations, but if we can kind of like not even care about them, like it's just going to be another step of the journey. It's going to be another right now moment that's awesome. But like that level of like detachment, like I know it's on the way. I know it's happening. I know it's manifesting. The seed has already been planted. As soon as we tell the universe what it is that we desire, seed in the ground. Like it's already in process. Like we don't know when it's going to sprout. We don't know when the harvest is going to take place. And the cool thing about the harvest is typically the harvest is way bigger and way more awesome than we even thought when we put it in the ground. So it's beautiful to be aware of these things. My favorite thing to know, out of many favorite things, I'll say lots of favorite things when I'm vibing with you, Kasha, or anyone. Let's hit on the unconditional love really quick, because this is important. It's easiest to be unconditionally loving when we stop looking at the others that we see in these physical avatars as separate from us. When we can have the illusion of separation, like we can get rid of that, and we can know that human there is just a different expression of me. That human there is just a different expression of me. We're all expressions of the divine. So when we know that, why do I think I'm better or worse than them? It's easy for me to have compassion, because whatever this person is experiencing, it's like me going through it. Like maybe I've actually experienced something similar, or if I haven't, I definitely could. It's all possibility. But I'm not going to judge them and condemn them, because then I'm judging and condemning myself, and I actually take on the energy of that judgment and that condemnation, and then I'm an energetic match to manifesting things that are going to be feeling. How does it feel when you're being judged or being condemned? Doesn't feel so good. So if that's the energy that you're in when you're judging and condemning others, it would be naive to think that you're going to manifest a love scene in this scene of the movie. Like why would you're not in the energy of love. You're in the energy of some irritation, frustration, all of these things. So for me, it's really easy to be unconditionally loving when we know who we truly are, because it's just another version of me. Like
we all have something to teach each other.
Yeah, doesn't mean that I'm going to hang out with you right now. Like if you're choosing to be on like the frustrated, angry, rageful channel on the radio's dial, I'm not going to judge and condemn you, because I've been there. But I'm just going to be the light so that you can be reminded of who you truly are. And maybe you choose to join me. Maybe you choose to come play with me in this light energy. Or you might choose to stay there. It's all good. I'll be here when you're ready. Like, come play whenever you're ready. Like, it's like, come outside and play whenever you're ready. If you want to stay inside right now and do your, go through what you're going through, do your shadow work. Another thing I have to hit on really quick with the shadow work. So another word for shadow work for me, I call them like blind spots. Like things that we don't even know that are happening, like, unconsciously, subconsciously, that are actually really impacting our present moment right now energy. And we all have these things, at different points of life. And before I discovered mine, like for me, I used to talk a lot of shit, and not like verbally assaulting people, but like my mind works really quickly. And I grew up in the inner city, and we used to always like competitive athletes, and someone could come at you for anything at any time, like at any moment. And I was the person that if you came at me, I already had like a half a dozen things to come back at you with. But I'm not gonna hit you on the below the belt. But I have like things where we could get progressively more like mean to each other if we need to. But it's just like becoming an adult with that mentality after living that way for so many years. I didn't even realize like it'd be so easy to be in whatever mood. Like you leave the house and then all of a sudden maybe someone's driving in a way that you don't think that they need to be driving, and now all of a sudden you're talking shit. And for some, which I never let it go here. But for some, that can lead to road rage. Like now you're like following behind them in your car, like cussing them out. And then you're confused why all of a sudden we see on the news 2 people got into a fight and someone killed the other person because it started with just energy is just momentum, and it's just important to know that this could be going on and you don't even know. So my advice to everybody is just start asking the question of what is it that's going on behind the scenes? What is it that I might not be aware of that is impacting my right now energy on a day-to-day basis? Like when I started asking questions like that and started paying attention, I was like, damn, Noel, you talk a lot of shit. Like, I started noticing. And what I had to start doing for me, because my energy mattered more than talking shit. Like I cared about being at peace. I cared about being who I truly am. I cared about having compassion for other people. And so because I cared about that more than talking shit, once I started to talk shit from then on, I'd be like, stop it, Noel. Even to this day, if I notice myself start to have any, like one thought, 2 thoughts of like critical towards anything, I just quickly say, stop it, Noel. We're not, and it's playful with me. Like I'm not allowed to go there. Like that's not where we're going. So that's my take on shadow work. And we all have different stuff that if we bring it to light, because that's what it is. Like it's a shadow. You don't know that it's there. It's a blind spot. But if you start paying attention, you can bring it to light, and then now you're aware of it. Now the choice from what you do with it is yours. You can practice, you can care about it, or you can just be like, I know I talk shit, but I'm going to keep doing it. If you decide to do that, not even saying that you're wrong for doing that, but let's not think that while you're doing that and you're slapping somebody around and cussing them out, like this is going to be the love scene. It's not. It's going to be a drama scene, I promise. So just ask yourself what you want to see in your scene of now.
That was beautiful. To add on top of that, I think, with being honest with yourself, like being authentic with yourself is a part of the process that even I recently realized that I wasn't entirely being honest with myself, being truthful with myself with certain things. And that I think was one of the reasons why I was called to come here to Tulum, is that people told me that Tulum has a very strong serpentine snake energy. And if anyone doesn't know the medicine of a snake, I'll just say really quickly, a snake sheds its skin and is reborn anew. Sometimes it's an easy process and it can just shake out of its skin, and sometimes it's not as comfortable and as pretty as we'd like it to be. But at the end of it, we have a new skin and we're a new person, and we have something new glistening from us to share. So the essence of being able to be really honest with yourself and authentic with yourself is something that we all can always be diving deeper into and allow ourselves to cultivate, because oftentimes it's easy to just kind of lie to ourselves and say that, like, I'm talking crap to people and stuff like that, and in your head you can kind of maybe justify like why that's okay, but long term the truth in your heart is no, that doesn't actually resonate with me. I don't enjoy doing that. I would prefer to just release it and let go and just say thank you and have love in my heart for that human. And it's so easy to kind of have a little bit of grit be a little jaded and just like allow ourselves to excuse certain things in our lives because of X, Y, Z. But I find that us being truly more authentic helps us in all different areas of life, but especially, in a sense, if you're with manifestation or anything like that, of course, like you're saying, not caring about when it happens, but I find that when you allow yourself to be more authentic and vulnerable with things, it allows the walls to break down of the resistance that you may have towards certain things, so that way your life can be more cohesive and it will allow you to experience things in a smoother fashion. It doesn't always necessarily need to be fast, but just smoother, less bumpy along the way. So allowing ourselves to be authentic with ourselves will allow us to smooth that out and to not be so bumpy in our life and to have more love. And through the process of that, I find that it also attracts things closer to you because you don't have as much resistance in yourself. You're more open to learn and to receive and to give through your heart. So I think authenticity and honesty are also very beautiful things that are coming through for a lot of people right now, myself included. So.
I love that so much. A lot of times, Kasha, we hear people say things, and we hear things like, self-awareness, and we're like, ooh, I'm self-aware. All these things. Another word for self-awareness is self-honesty. Like, are you being honest with yourself? And until you take that step where that matters to you, that's why I ask people, like, once you become aware, like, does it matter to you? And if it matters to you, then you'll practice. Anything that you'll practice, you'll evolve in. But I can't make it matter to someone, and I've learned that I can't desire for someone's light bulb to come on more than they're ready for it right now. Like, it's just, that's not, I didn't come here to vibrate for anyone else other than me. I don't have that power. So I'm super excited when people start sharing what you're sharing right now, as far as how it matters to you to be self-honest, to be self-aware, to go on the journey of honesty, to really ask those questions. I love knowing that we can ask any question to the universe and the answers will show up, especially if it's questions where it's like, anything will show up. So it's not really an especially thing. But I promise you, in addition to everything else that you ask, you start asking questions that are like, what is it that I need to see that is impacting my vision moment by moment, my energy moment by moment, day by day? What would be useful for me to become aware of here and now? Like, and pay attention. Oh my gosh, you'll see things all the time. Like, for instance, for me, I'll share one. So I go work out, and I lift really heavy weights at the gym. Like, I feel like a straight gorilla when I lift, like, thousands of pounds of stuff. Like, I love the energy. Like, I love feeling strong. I love lifting heavy stuff. During the quarantine, I was looking around my place, and I was like, what's the heaviest objects that I have here? Can I pick them up? And, I decided not to because I would have injured myself because these aren't, like, actual weights. Like, but anyways, not the point. At the gym, I noticed myself because I'm paying attention. I care. Like, I want to continue to evolve. I'm going to evolve the whole time I'm here. The one thing I noticed is that when my, like, energy and my testosterone goes gorilla, I can be more, I can be more, like, I can be more short with anything, like the old Noel, as far as, like, that goes. For instance, I remember maybe 6 months ago, like, I just finished, like, doing a really, really heavy exercise, deadlifts, if anybody knows out there. It was lots of pounds. And, like, I put the weight down and, like, I walk away like I normally do because I got to clear my head. Like, I got to just leave that behind and, like, go for a little quick walk. And then I came back and there was another human that, I don't know if he was, like, on something, like extra, like, or I didn't know what his deal was, but he had some testosterone going too. And then I observed him, like, kick my weight belt. He, like, just kicked it. He didn't know it was mine. But to me in that moment, it didn't really matter if he knew it was mine. Like, I was like, yep. I'm not going to repeat it like on him. But it just, now thank goodness, like, he had headphones in and he didn't see that. Because who knows, like, what that could have, it could have caused more energy than we wanted to have. But he didn't notice it. And then I checked myself. I'm like, no, well, chill out. And then I was like, from that point on, I'm like, I got to start being mindful of my energy at the gym. Like, my intention is to be peaceful at the gym. Like, regardless if I'm doing all of these things, like, and I still have to, like, chill out, Noah. Like, because I notice, like, sometimes the testosterone just goes there, and I enjoy it. So it's always a forever thing when it comes to evolving.
I'll be a little vulnerable and share one of mine as well. I mentioned it earlier, but I deeply enjoy being alone. I'm very much a solitude creature. And I find that there was a part of me that was maybe entirely being honest, in that I do enjoy connecting with people, you know, from time to time when I'm ready, when I want to. But I found that I purposely would hide myself away maybe longer than I necessarily would benefit from, because I didn't entirely want to be seen. I didn't want to entirely be heard from other people, because I subconsciously knew that there was parts of myself that I wasn't being fully honest with myself about, and I was scared that if I hung out with other people, they might recognize that and they might call me out on it, and that I might be rejected or denied, or you know, whatever it is. So I figured, well, if I just hang out by myself and I don't hang out with anyone, no one's going to be able to pick up on all the things that I'm hiding, you know. So I think being able to be more honest with myself has really allowed myself to have my heart more open and to connect with people. And for anyone really, if they're looking to attract new people into their life, new friends, you know, partners, whatever it is, just expanding their circle. You know, when you allow yourself to be more authentic with yourself and allowing that to empower you and to keep your heart open, you will naturally attract more people in your life that are of that newer vibration of authenticity that you now hold. And it's so beautiful, because they'll also keep you accountable in the way that I was kind of afraid of before. But now I deeply welcome it, and I'm excited for that, because I love kind of getting a little tough love from people, and learning how there's, you know, like you said, like blind spots or things that that's why human connection can be so important, is because people can help us look at things that necessarily we may not be able to see. And so before, in the past, I felt like I could just do it myself and I could just be hidden away from everyone. But I found that wasn't always beneficial for me. And the more authentic and more honest I have been with myself, the more I've attracted people in my life who are like that. And we equally help support each other and in empowering ourselves with our truth. So I find it's really beautiful.
I love that. Like, that's such a good reminder. Like, everybody is our mirror. Like, everybody that is in your life is your mirror. And if you see it as such, like, if you find yourself being triggered, that's something there that's pointing an area inside of you that it might be a blind spot right now. That might be a really easy way to say, what's triggering me about other humans? Oh, is there something there that I can address as far as things that I could heal, things that I could shine light on? And the answer to that is always yes. If we find ourselves pointing at anyone in any way, if you point at someone and say you're awesome, if we measured your energy in the moment, we would measure energy at awesome. That would be what we would label it. If you're pointing at someone saying you suck, you're a jerk, we measured your energy, and we have tools to do this now in the world. Like, scientifically, we can measure energy. But if you're like, you're a jerk, you suck, in that moment, you would register as a jerk. Suck. And it just is what it is. So it's just great to be aware of that and to start paying attention, because the people that are in our lives, whether they're there for a moment that day or if they're there like ongoing, the ones that are there ongoing, a lot of times, like, before we incarnate, like, we've decided that we're going to be in each other's lives because we know we're going to be mirrors for each other. And it might not just be like pleasant mirrors. You might not be looking in the mirror and be like, I love you. No, you might be looking in the mirror and be like, I don't like you at all. And it's just, it's all part of, like, that actually is.
But I love you anyway.
Yeah.
That's an essence of me.
100%. Like, those relationships are the ones that allow us to evolve the most, especially ones that have been in our life, you know, for more life experiences, because every single life experience evolves us. So the people that we've known for our whole lives, there's been a lot of evolution there, you know, but that doesn't mean that you have to be powerless as far as, like, you're not required to continue to spend as much time as you always have. The most powerful energy in every relationship is yours, because you're going to decide where you're going to vibrate. And again, someone's either going to come play with you in the vibration that you're in, or you're going to go play with them in the vibration that they're in, or you guys just aren't going to want to vibe with each other right now, and that's okay. You just reconvene when you guys are both ready to play with each other, wherever you choose to play with each other. I mean, no humans ever hang out. Like, you will never be in a blissed out mood and be hanging out all day with someone who's, like, irritated. They don't want to be around you. Like, and you don't want to be around them. It just is not that anybody's right or wrong. Like, there's not a right or wrong energy. It just is. So just be mindful of it. I love it.
That's beautiful. I love that. Yeah. We're all puzzle pieces for each other.
True story. True story. I love knowing that. Okay, I just have one more question for you until I am inspired and have another one. But I do have one more that I'm super excited to ask you. And my favorite thing to ask anyone, because and just share whatever you're feeling called to share. You're doing that the whole time anyways, and I really love how you share. But if I was speaking with any human on earth, any of you guys watching this live or whenever you watch this 1,000 years from now, if I was having a conversation with you, all I really want to know from you is like what your vision is, like what you want to see evolve, whether it be your personal life, whether it be for humanity or anything in between. And the more life that we live, the more that this is going to expand for all of us. And it's just a beautiful thing to be curious about with someone and to allow it to inspire us. And then we can go on the journey. And if we can choose to help each other manifest those visions, what I know about life is if we can help enough people manifest their visions, the vision that we have for the whole, if you've thought that far, we automatically manifest that, because all of us individually have different visions to see poverty eradicated, for people to have food and water, for animals to be uplifted, for people to, for kids and for everything. Like we just have this overall macro vision, and there's people that have individual visions that are like super passionate about these things. And then some people that their vision is just travel around the world, enjoy life, and just be love everywhere that they go. Like, awesome. So as far as you know right now, as far as where you evolved to as far as vision, what does that look like for you? What are you willing to share with us?
A world of sustainability. So I believe that the path to world peace comes through sustainability. Because if we all live in a world where we have solar or any type of free energy, we all have our own food, and our houses are made out of sustainable materials, and our clothes and the utensils that we have, and instead of our water bottles being plastic, they're hemp. Finding every aspect of life that may not be conducive and sustainable now, and all coming together and being like, well, this person's really awesome at making juices, but they're bottling them in plastic right now. So let's connect you with someone that's got like hemp bottles, and bringing the community together and unifying us in a way that it also keeps us sovereign within ourselves. So that way we can live our own life in the way that we want, and whenever we can follow our passions and our ideals, and we're in a community that is supported and is in union with the earth. So that way, we have everything that we need, and then some, so that way we can, because I truly believe that when people have all their basic necessities met and they're living a peaceful life, they're able to pursue those things that really make them happy, and that's the medicine for the world. Like, someone could be really awesome at making blankets, medicine blankets, weeds with the most beautiful intention that might take a lot of time to do, and maybe right now they don't have a lot of time to do that. So if they had all the free time in the world to do what they love, weaving these blankets, and they can give that out to the world, and give people that intention of love. And I think that was so beautiful. And if every person was doing what they loved, it would all leave us in a place of peace, and we'd also be living in harmony and unison with the earth. So I think the project of sustainability is a really exciting one, because it's a never-ending journey of evolving and finding new ways to work with the earth and supporting her, and then also supporting ourselves while still living a beautiful life. Because I think a lot of people think that, if you live in like a sustainable community, or they're all hippies and they all kind of have like dingy looking shacks that they live out of. I'm like, no, we can live in nice places and still have them be in union with the earth and made out of hemp or coconut shells or whatever it is. There's many ways that we can find to improve our lives and improve the way that we produce and consume, because I think one of the main things is that we're never not going to stop being consumers and producers. That's just who we are as humans. But if we can find ways to elevate it and to reduce our carbon footprint and to reduce the impact that we have, while equally being able to sustain and support ourselves, so that way we don't necessarily have to keep working the same jobs that we have to, and we can instead do things that we love, because you don't have to worry about paying an electric bill and having to buy food and like water and all this stuff. Instead, you have your own garden, and you have the solar, and you have a water filter and things like that. So where it really reduces the cost of your living, and it really instead it lowers the cost of living, but ups the quality of your life, your standards of living. I think is really beautiful. And I think the best way to do that is through sustainability. And we can still live a luxury life with Mother Nature. And I think that's how she intends it to be, is we live in a life of abundance and luxury in unison with her and with sustainability. So how exactly? There's so many different variables to that. But I believe that finding a way to all come together and to kind of pool our resources and to find, okay, like, what puzzle piece matches with who and how can we support each other, and being able to elevate the product or the service or the packaging or the transportation of something. There's right now, and that's what's so exciting about it to me, is that the potential for us to switch over to the sustainable lifestyle right now is a very big untapped market that we can all jump in on and get excited about, and we'll just continue to what would you say, snowball itself, so that we can all be excited about it together, and seeing that we can live a truly beautiful life in a way that doesn't have to be harmful to ourselves or to the earth.
What you just shared was so beautiful. I love how you rewind when you guys are listening to this replay. Rewind and listen to how Kasha flowed that out, and it's just it's a beautiful example. What do you say?
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
The essence of that with all of that is peace, but it's also empowerment, because if we all have the things that we want and desire, and of course it's a never-ending journey of wanting and desiring things. That's a beautiful thing in life. But if we all have the basic needs met, we are truly empowered to live the life that we desire, and that in itself is going to lead to a world of so much more beauty and peace. It not only empowers us emotionally and spiritually, but also physically as well, to really live our best life. So just wanted to say that part.
I love it, Kasha. I love the illustration of your puzzle piece as in this conversation, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful example, because a lot of you guys out there listening are similar to me, where consciously I wouldn't be able to speak about what Kasha just spoke about sustainability, because my life experiences hasn't caused me to be able to speak on that like that. However, when she just illustrated that, I'm like, yeah, we can't have the puzzle piece completed if that piece is not there. So you also out there, you have a puzzle piece also, where you would describe something passionately that you want to see evolve the same way that Kasha did, but it'd be totally different, and be like, yeah, we need that puzzle piece as well. And if we just allow enough of us to help each other build the puzzle, we create the humanity that we want to live in. And why do I want to create the humanity that we want to live in? Because it sounds way more fun. Why would we not? Everything that Kasha described, and being able to do what you love and to be able to enjoy the luxuries of life. Heck yeah, the divine loves us to live luxurious lives, because we're expressions of the divine. So if the divine didn't enjoy us living luxuriously, people wouldn't paint beautiful paintings or build beautiful resorts or create beautiful. We wouldn't create these things if it wasn't something that, because the divine, the expression of us, co-created all of these things. So of course the divine wants us to experience, because the divine co-created it with us. So it's just we're here in the physical to experience it. So it's just I'm bougie AF.
Yes.
And
if anyone hasn't noticed, Mother Nature's the bougiest one out here. She's got everything going on. She's got fruits, she's got vegetables, she's got the most beautiful views. Just looking at her, why wouldn't she want us to? We're all the same. We're all from the same source. So why wouldn't our mother want us to live a beautiful life that she has herself been living? So.
Absolutely. This has been so much fun. I want you to share anything else that could be anything at all that somebody could tune into this 1,000 years from now, and you'd be like, I just want to make sure that they hear this. It could be re-emphasizing something you've already shared. It could be something just totally that wants to flow out of you. Anything else you're like, if somebody tunes into this now or 1,000 years from now, I just want to make sure that this is on wax.
The first thing that came to mind is just take it easy, honestly. I don't think that's something that you can ever outgrow, or that's something that I think can be quite a timeless statement. I think even beings who are thousands of years in the future are going to be able to remember, take it easy, because when we allow ourselves to be calm, we're also in a state of allowing, and we allow ourselves to receive what is most beneficial for us for the next steps forward. So take it easy, have love, have gratitude.
I love it. I love it. That's been my, what'd you say? That was the last thing you said?
Keep it simple.
For sure. That's been my advice to more people lately, and I'm giving it to myself as well, as far as just be easy on yourself. Don't be the farmer that, plants the seeds and then beats yourself up because you don't have a crop, you don't have a harvest today. What you're beating yourself up, and it's something that you're going against everything in nature. So just be easy on yourself. Just enjoy the journey. We hear that said, and it's become more of a cliche than, how many of us are really doing that? If you are out there, awesome. I'm so excited for you, because now you're getting to do what you can do with what you have from where you are, knowing that you're a beautiful puzzle piece, just like Kasha is, just like I am, just like all of us are. And we get to be curious and be adventurous as far as how are we going to bring our puzzle piece into the piece of the whole, so that we can have the puzzle of life that we want to create. And that's what this is all about. That's why we wanted to come here, to evolve. Because every life experience as a physical human, where we're touching, where we're smelling, where we're tasting, where we're hearing, is going to evolve us. It can't not evolve us, because we're having more life experience. We already touched this, and we're having more clarity, and we're having more desire. And then as a creator, then you start to put energy into whatever it is that you want to create. So knowing that, and then we just came here just to enjoy the process of creation. Enjoy the creations that have been created before us and the creations that we'll create from here. It's just all for the joy of it, for the fun of it. And not taking it so serious, because we're eternal, by the way. So if you're eternal, meaning that if you exist right now listening to this, you'll always exist. So knowing that, why do we take life so serious? The worst thing that can happen is you just bounce out of this human avatar and you just go play in another dimension, or maybe come back, or who cares? To me, I don't care where I go play after this. I just know that I'll still be playing. Whatever it is. If I take another human body or go play in a dimension that right now consciously I can't speak about, awesome. I'm down for all of it. But for now that I'm alive and I'm the avatar called Noel, I'm going to enjoy the heck out of this journey, because awesome humans like you, Kasha, show up. All of you guys out there, the things that we can do together right now with technology like this, we're hundreds of miles away right now. We could just as easily be thousands of miles away. And we can flow and share ideas and impact people and, empower people, and just a beautiful time that we live in. So affirming that this is our first co-creation, and we will have many more. I'm very excited.
I was going to say, I think I'm definitely excited to tune in with more of these. I already feel like I have 2 topic ideas, which one is sacred sexuality, and then also astrology, more like quantum multidimensional living, and how we have superhuman abilities that we may have kind of forgotten about.
Ooh, 2 workshop topics. You guys, Kasha is a part of Universal Abundance with us. If you're watching this right now, so this is going to be streaming. If you guys are listening to this live, this will be on the stream for 24 hours. You'll be able to tune into it, share this if it's impacted you, for sure. After that, the video is exclusively inside of the Universal Abundance community, which the easiest way to describe that, I'm going to describe it using what we talked about in this episode, is there's lots of puzzle pieces from all around the world coming together, helping us craft the puzzle so that we can create the humanity that we want. So if you're out there right now and you have a vision, which if you're human, you do, and you don't have humans that are helping you manifest your vision, if you don't have people saying, what's your vision? That's awesome. Let's do this. Let's help you do this. If that's not going on in your life right now, come participate. Come tune in with us. Shoot me a DM. Shoot Kasha a DM. Come enjoy life. We want your puzzle piece. We can't finish the puzzle. We can't complete it, and it's never going to be completed because there's just so many puzzles and so pieces. But the puzzle's way more beautiful with your piece in it. So we want your piece, and we want to help your piece be as beautiful as it can be. Which, how beautiful can it be? Unlimited, which is awesome. So
this doggy wants to say hi.
You got a dog next to you this whole time?
No, he just came up, or she. I don't know. So they just came up and wanted to say hi.
That's because he feels your vibes. Very, very easy to feel those. He has unconditional love for you until someone else in there has food.
Yeah, right? Yeah, they're on a mission right now, but this one just wants me to pet him, so I'm very happy about that. So. Oh, okay, never mind.
I love it. Well, thank you. What you described, though, those are 2 workshop topics. Like, if you guys have never heard me speak about sacred sexuality, it becomes a very fun topic. It's my actually favorite topic to speak of, and I have lots of favorite topics, but this is one of them for sure. And then unlocking our superpowers, being aware of what they are, that will be fun as well. So 2 workshops already done. You guys inside of the Universal Abundance portal that are watching this right now, Kasha will have a featured creator section starting with this video and whatever it is that she's inspired to share beyond that. So
Yes.
Thank you for playing with me today. This has been so much fun.
Thank you. It's been such an honor.
Yes, you are an awesome human. You guys out there, share this with people. Like you'll uplift someone so much if you give them a chance to see this. So this will be here for 24 hours. I love and appreciate you all. Have a beautiful day, whether you're hearing this now or 1,000 years from now. And we will talk with all of you soon. Don't go anywhere, Kasha. I'm going to stop the stream.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I love you so much, and I'm wishing you the most radiant, blissful rest of your night.
I love it.